Hello everyone, welcome once again to Scorpion Cigar Reviews. Today I will be smoking a Swollen Cock. This was given to me by a friend from Facebook on one of these cigar forums, Matt Eskridge. Thank you very much. This is a new setup I'm trying to use here. The last video I did had some issues with the sound not coming out very well. So instead of using a tripod, I'm going to try using a selfie stick and getting a little closer to the camera. And we'll see how the sound turns out this time. So we'll get this unwrapped and get right to the cigar review. See you in a bit. I'll be using my new Moretti lighter. It has a little punch cutter built into the bottom. Now this Swollen Cock is a 2008 Corojo wrapper, binder, and filler. And this is one of those cigars that changes diameter. Starts off one size, gets thicker in the middle, and then tapers back down. I'm not sure the exact dimensions. It's somewhere along the lines of 48 by 54 by 48, I believe, in what appears to be about a 6-inch stick. So, I think that punch cut will work well. Tight seams. There is no band on this cigar. Has a, looks like a triple cap. Wrapper feels very nice. It's a smooth, like a fine Italian leather, unpolished. Minimal veins. Sweet tobacco scent on the nose. A little bit of nuttiness there maybe on the wrapper. There's something sweet there, almost I'm picking up, yeah, there's something sweet, like a, maybe a hint of honeysuckle in the background perhaps. Not sure. There's something there though. The foot. Some grains and nuttiness, a little hint of leather, a little bit of cedar spice, some other various kitchen spices. Oh, wonderful. There's a lot going on. Pre-draw. A little bit of saddle leather, subtle. Subtle hint of hay, very subtle. Some grains, very pleasant. All right, get this thing lit up. Right off the bat, you can see multiple tunnels. That's likely from the straw method of bunching the leaves into individual tubes, and then you take that bunch together. Helps with the draw, the airflow. All right, pick up this selfie stick here. All right off the bat, a lot of smoke output. A little bit of peppery on the retrohale, as I typically get from most cigars that I find that I smoke. Every once in a while there'll be one that doesn't have that, but it's pretty typical. I can tell that deep in the background there are other flavors trying to open up. So I'll continue this on, and I'll come back somewhere in the first third and see where we're at. See you in a bit. Pairing today's cigar with a traditional Finnish drink called Sima. They traditionally tend to start brewing this late spring, early summer as the weather starts to get warm. It's basically a lemon-based drink with white sugar and brown sugar and that type of thing. When I was brewing it, just based on the ingredients that were going in, I thought this was going to be something along the lines of like a hard lemonade or something, but it is very, very carbonated. You have to be very careful when you pop the top on the bottle. It goes everywhere. This time I actually set the bottle in a bowl in the sink, slowly let some of the pressure off so I didn't lose too much, and then what I did lose fell into the bowl, and I poured that in my glass. And also this time I'm pouring it into a glass filled with ice to try to keep it cold. It's a sweet, not overly sweet, but it's sweet, low alcohol content drink. More along the lines of a soda. I think it's more of a cross between a cream soda, a root beer, and a hint of hard lemonade. That's the impression I'm getting from it. This was the first batch I made. The recipe was given from me from my friend in Finland. Thank you very much, Don. This is really good stuff. Really enjoying it. We'll see how it pairs with the swollen cock. See in a bit. I've been smoking this for, I don't know, 15 minutes maybe. I've got probably an inch of ash. So far it's holding on alright, although it does look like it might be a little loose. So I'm going to tap that off. I took a little bit of effort, but not too bad. Notice it broke off in a cone shape. This is generally good. I used to think that it was bad just because I didn't like the jagged ash. However, I've learned that when you get the cone shape like this, it's an indication that the tobaccos are burning at a rate that would inhibit good construction, good tight ash, and that they're burning at the proper rate together, as opposed to if it would break off into either a straight line or even a bowl shape. Typically they tend to go out. This way they'll stay lit. So, a few changes have happened since I first lit the cigar. That initial pepper blast has really mellowed down. It's almost morphed. It's not so much on the retrohale as it is on the rear of the palate, but it's very smooth. It's a smooth pepper. And there's some other spices that I'm picking up, some kitchen spices, some cedar spice. Picking up a slight hint of that barnyard, very slight, very subtle, very good. Yeah, so far I'm really, really enjoying this cigar. I'm really digging it. It's actually going really well with this Sima traditional Finnish drink that I'm pairing it with. Yeah, this is really good. I'm really enjoying this. Doing this cigar review at the new Scorpion Lounge. I've moved. I moved in January of this year. I'm no longer on top of the mountain in my fortress, my solitude. I'm now in a high-class neighborhood. And I'm really enjoying it. Love the people. I love the neighborhood. Everybody's very friendly. Very nice homes. It's quiet. It's peaceful. Very dog friendly. I think everybody here has at least one dog. Every time you look out the window, there's somebody different walking down the street with one or two dogs. Everybody stops and says hi. I've made lots of friends. So this was a good move. So I've even got a buddy down the street, a couple doors down, over there all the time, smoking cigars and drinking beer, and good times had by all. So now I have someone nearby to smoke cigars with instead of always smoking alone. Different experience altogether. Anyway, I'll continue on with this review, and I'll be back in a little bit. All right, here we are. Just starting the second third. See, the ash is starting to self-destruct, I guess you would call it. It's splitting and tilting, and looks like it was struck by lightning, and looks like shrapnel and all kinds of things. I'm gonna go ahead and tap that off. Came off nicely. Not really a cone per se, but it did tap off nice and around, and I can see a little bit of a cone inside. So all's good. So far, no issues with the construction or the burn. Not a perfectly straight burn, slight wavy, but it's a pretty crisp burn line. I haven't had to do any touch-ups or anything. It's continued to burn through nicely. It's a low end to medium body and strength, maybe more towards the mild, but it's very smooth, very pleasant. I mean, I've got no complaints other than this being I think it sells for about $12 a stick. But if you were to compare this to some other brands that do this shape, I'm not going to mention any because I don't know the truth, and evidently there is some ambiguity about it. So I'll leave it at that. The pack was fairly firm, not rock solid. It wasn't hard as a rock or anything. Slight amount of give. To me, it's constructed very well. Very smooth, very pleasant, very enjoyable. A little bit of pepperiness on the retrohale. Not like a black pepper, not like kitchen pepper or anything like that. More of a not necessarily a red chili, but something vegetal, something along those lines. Maybe a chili, perhaps. Hints of leather. Very subtle changes as the ring gauge changes ever so slightly from beginning to middle to end. There are very subtle changes. Smoke is remaining relatively cool. The cigar is cool to the touch. A little bit of almost a slightly creamy mouthfeel, very slight. Just a real pleasant cigar. I mean, I've got no complaints. Anyway, I'll come back in the final third. See you in a bit. I don't typically read reviews of a cigar before I smoke it for review myself because I don't want my opinions to be skewed. However, as I was smoking this Swollen Cock in between video segments, I was trying to do some research, see what I could find out about the cigar. Not a whole lot of information about it. I did read one review. I'm not going to mention what the review was, but the reviewer didn't care for the cigar, had a lot of complaints. Just seemed to be a really negative attitude towards the cigar from the very beginning, almost as though he had a mindset that he wasn't going to like the cigar regardless. And that's the impression I got from reading his review. He did pick out some of the flavors that I had already picked out before I had gotten to that point in his review. But anyway, I have no complaints. I've had no issues with having to relight or retouch. Honestly, it's a very well-rounded cigar. I find this to be very well-balanced. There are several flavors going on at one time, including leather, cedar spice, some various other kitchen spices, a little bit of various pepper notes, low end of medium body and strength. Actually, for me, it's a pretty enjoyable cigar. I've smoked a wide range of cigars, everywhere from very mild to very strong cigars, some that are just booming with flavor, a lot of flavor changes, all the way to things that are very one-dimensional. And while this is not necessarily going through a lot of flavor changes, there are several flavors there going on at once, and you have to kind of look for them and pick them out. While at the same time, there are other flavors that are much more forward, but nothing is, you know, right there in your face. It's maybe borderline subtle, but they're definitely there, and you don't have to look too hard to find them. I think I got something biting me here. But anyway, I just wanted to give my 2 cents at this particular stage of the cigar. I'm not quite into the point in the final third where I would review that portion, but I just wanted to give my little thoughts on how I do my reviews, as far as not reading other people's reviews prior to reviewing a cigar. But that's where I am with this. See you in a bit. Alright, I'm into the final third. I'm past the point where it's gotten to its widest point, and I'm now tapering back down towards a size similar to where I first lit the cigar. So I would expect that the flavor profile would coincide and perhaps bring back some of the flavors from the first third into the final third. So we'll see. The ash is still holding on pretty good, a little over an inch, I guess. I'm going to tap this off. Came off nicely, little cone shape. It's just starting to warm up a little bit. Smoke's a little bit warm. The body of the cigar itself is relatively cool. It's a little bit of warmth to it, but nothing that would, you know, put you off if you're the kind of person that doesn't like when the cigar gets warm. And there are plenty of people out there that as soon as the cigar gets warm, they toss it. They don't like a hot cigar. I don't like a hot cigar, but sometimes it's a matter of how you're smoking it. I've found numerous times if a cigar was getting too hot, I just simply had to lay it down in the ashtray for a while and just draw on it a little more slowly, less frequently. And the flavor became much more enjoyable as the cigar cooled. Hot cigars tend to put off flavors. Well, I had been picking up a pretty good amount of cedar spice and leather up until now. As the cigar is starting to burn back down to the taper, more along the lines of the first third of the cigar, just as I had expected. Very, very subtle hints of pepper on the retrohale. A little bit of leather if you look for it. It's there, so if you look for it, you'll find it. And not a wide range of changes. There are several flavors there. There's not a lot of changing flavors. You gotta know that they're there. Really, you look for them. Once you look for them and you find them, you can kind of subconsciously look for them while you're looking for other flavors. And they're there. They're all there. It's got the pepper. It's got the cedar spice. It's got the leather. It's got a little bit of nuttiness. It's got not really an earthiness. There's something else there. Not a mineral note. Not earthy at all. But there's something else there. Slightly vegetable in character. Very pleasant. I find this to be a very pleasant cigar. $12. maybe a bit on the high side, maybe an $8 cigar, a $9 cigar. Yeah, I could see that. But I'm happy with this. And especially being gifted to me specifically for review. I mean, how can I complain? Even if it was just a total dog turd, you know, I didn't pay anything for it, certainly not $12, so I couldn't complain myself about it. But even if I had paid the $12, my only complaint would be that maybe it's not quite a $12 cigar, maybe more along the lines of $8 or $9. But anyway, I'll continue this on and I'll come back in the nub. See you in a bit. All right, I'm approaching the nub. This is my first instance of an uneven burn. I've been smoking this for probably close to an hour. This is the first time I've experienced an improper burn from this cigar. So, I mean, you know, really can't complain. I've had much more expensive, considered to be higher end cigars that burn like this, you know, constantly. I was constantly touching them up. I haven't had to touch this up yet. I may go ahead and give this a little bit with the lighter here, just to make sure I can give this cigar every opportunity. We'll see how that turns out for us. So, to sum it up, I like to say that this Swollen Cock cigar has been really enjoyable, actually. Been smoking it for about an hour. It's got a fairly wide flavor profile, albeit one-dimensional, as the flavors don't really change a lot throughout the smoking of the cigar, but you will pick up some peppery notes, some cedar spice, some various kitchen spices, some leather. There's a slight vegetal character in the peppery note, something along the lines of maybe a red chili perhaps, or something like that. Very good cigar. Maybe a little high on the price point, but not ridiculous. I mean, it's not like it's a, you know, $30 Davidoff or anything like that. It's, you know, it's $12. I mean, it's not ridiculous. And for about an hour, it's, you know, $12 for an hour of enjoyment. Sure, why not? What the heck? I've got no complaints about the cigar. I've really enjoyed it. So I'd like to once again thank Matt Eskridge for sending me this cigar in for review. Very much appreciated. And I thank you for once again watching Scorpion Cigar Reviews. I'll catch you next time.